Testing, testing.
Microphone check.
Can we try that one more time?
Yeah, hold on. Let me make sure my audio is right.
You sound far away or it's very volume is low.
Mic check. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Barely.
What about now?
No. Let's switch so you can hear it on my end.
No, I'll come in there. I know what to do. I'll just mute real quick.
Okay.
All right, Christy, is this any better?
A lot better.
Is it too loud now?
Maybe. Mm, tiny bit. Even though
Let
we're
me let
degrees.
me come turn it down a little bit.
Okay.
All right, how's this one sound? Is that better?
Perfect.
All right. Stays red, yeah.
It'll light up. Hi, Dulce. I'm just testing audio. If you could please confirm in the Spanish channel. Thank you. Hi, Les. We're just testing audio. If you could please confirm in the Spanish channel. Thank you. Dulce is also in the Spanish channel. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Director Hodges,
Here.
Director Rosen,
Here.
Director Hatcher,
Here.
Director Lamnin,
Here.
President Andrade.
Here.
Thank you.
I have to report on closed session here, which is we had a claim for an insurance settlement, and we put up we authorized up to $10,000 for an insurance settlement. Okay, with that. So we're going to go to oral communication 7.1, introduction of new employees.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors. Jim Wheeler, General Manager. Tonight we have numerous new employees to introduce to you. Some of them you may have met at our recent new employee meet and greet. We continue to expand the workforce, and I could not be prouder of the quality of people we are attracting as a district. And so with that, we will let the supervisors of these employees introduce them to you.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors. My name is Ryan Rojas, Park Supervisor. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce you to 3 members of our Parks and Facility Maintenance team. Each one of them brings unique experience, energy, and enthusiasm to our department, and we're excited to have them on board. First, Nick Sanchez. He joined the park maintenance worker prior to coming to HARD. Nick was an arborist at Davy Tree, and he has held various customer service related roles throughout the East Bay. His former supervisors and colleagues noted that Nick is a people's person and there wasn't anything that he couldn't accomplish. When Nick is not working, Nick enjoys to go backpacking, camping, bowling, rugby, and snowboarding. We're very happy to have Nick be part of our Parks and Facility Maintenance team at HARD.
Hello. Yeah, so I was an arborist before coming here, so I'm happy to be here, stepping away from the private tree industry and, putting my skills to work towards serving the community of the Hayward area and learning what it's like to work with the Rexon Park District. So, thank you.
Okay, next we have Anthony Sayers. Anthony rejoins HARD as a full-time park maintenance worker. Last year, Anthony started at HARD as a seasonal park maintenance aide. His clients and former supervisors taught that Anthony connects well with everyone and is willing to show others how to perform maintenance-related tasks so that he can be done correctly. I'm sorry. And with that unique retail experience, Anthony's knowledge and skill set has been proven to beneficial of the job outside of HARD. Anthony enjoys anything involving his child and their Little League team. Additionally, he enjoys camping, disc golfing, and exploring the great outdoors with his family. We are thrilled to have Anthony continue to thrive as a park maintenance worker with our Parks and Facility Maintenance team at HARD.
Good evening, Board of Directors. It's a pleasure to see you and meet you again. And I just want to say thank you very much for everybody who saw something in me during the interview process and my temporary time here and gave me a shot full time to really make an impact on the community and in the parks that my family and I love to visit and frequent. So thank you very much.
Okay, and finally, Eric Berquist, who joins HARD as a park maintenance worker who will be dedicated to the Japanese garden. Prior to HARD, Eric was part of the landscape crew at Berkeley Horticultural Nursery, where he cared for and maintained a wide variety of plants, conducted routine ground maintenance, and provided exceptional customer service. His supervisors proclaimed Eric was one of the good ones who was loved by all. Eric is a true team player and has high work ethic. Eric cares about what he does, especially knowing that he is making an impact with the community. His new role mirrors, especially what he enjoys doing in his spare time, which is being outdoors surrounded by plants. We are very excited to have Eric be part of our Parks and Facility Maintenance team at heart.
Hello. I'm not one for speeches, but thank you for the opportunity. I'm very happy to be here. Thankful for everybody that gave me a shot. So thank you.
Evening, Honorable Board of Directors. Gary Zhao, Maintenance and Construction Supervisor. I'm pleased to be here today to introduce Luis Gomez, our new Maintenance and Construction Technician 1. Part to heart, Luis was a building engineer for ABM Services. Through his agency, he worked at Westview Valley Fair in San Jose, where he handled all technical issues related to electrical, HVAC, and plumbing. His supervisor touted that Luis worked well with others and possessed strong troubleshooting skills. His colleague expressed that Luis always ensured safety came first and when it came to working on electrical. Outside of heart, Luis enjoyed visiting Park with his family. We are thrilled to have Luis to be part of our Park and Facility Maintenance team at heart.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Alexander Gomez. We have a couple Luises here. I go by Alex, so you'll hear the terminology going back and forth. I'm truly honored to be here today as the newest member from Maintenance and Construction, Tech 1. I like to start my way at the bottom, understand everything, eventually going up. Joining the team has been a very incredible opportunity, and I want to thank a moment to Gary, Francisco, and Lapin that brought me on board from the very beginning. I see what the entire parks do, what is offered, and what is asked for. So it's a great honor for me. It's clear how much passion and hard work goes to maintaining all these parks also. I see the Hayward Community Center, the Japanese Garden, that's very delicacy there. Other parks like San Lorenzo Duck Pond, understanding pumps, stuff like that, and then understanding those lift stations at the Cannery Park. That was another big project that was pretty disgusting, and I know a lot of people wouldn't get down there. But understanding what helps the community out was better because it was pretty hazmatal. So, but it's all right. While I'm also still getting familiar and more details around the park, like the rodeo park, that's going to be a fun thing in May. So other projects, other new parks being built, it's pretty awesome seeing from the ground up and actually being there ahead of time, actually getting with an engineer or something like that, understanding what's going around in the parks and what kind of play equipment and stuff like that, making sure it's all safe for all the kids to play. So yeah, thank you again. Like I could go on and on and on, and it's just never ending. So every day is new, and that's what I like about it. So thank you.
We're very sorry. We'll do it one at a time. You can take the photo with the board. All right, there we go. Somebody's super excited. Right. Yes. All right, everybody's gonna look at me on the count of 3. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Who wants to go next? Next victim, yeah. We promise they, you know.
We're gonna come by when we
Like pressure's not too,
Yeah.
All right, have everybody ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, you're ready. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we have some more employees there. So already getting ahead of it.
All right, everybody smile. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Yeah.
And everyone left. The Motley crew left. Public comments.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's always good to see new team members. Their enthusiasm is pretty good. So it's great. Thank you. Public comments. I don't see any. Is there anyone here online? There's no one here I know.
We don't have any public comment online.
Okay. So we'll move on to the consent calendar. 9.1. This is draft minutes and adoption of a resolution to accept completion of the well construction at Mission Hills and approval of post-employee benefits. This is the subject of the study session, right? And okay, so does anyone want to pull any of those? Peter?
Yes, I'd like to pull 9.2.
9.2, okay, which is the well. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else?
I'll move to accept 9.1 and 9.3.
Okay. We have a motion for 9.1 and 9.3 by Director Hatcher. Do I have a second?
Sure.
There was a second by Director Lambden. Okay, with that, please, any comments or discussion? Okay, and no comments. Okay, with that, please vote. Okay, motion carries. Motion carried unanimously.
I'll be quick.
Okay, and then going on to 9.2.
I just want to make a quick comment about it. I am very thankful that this has now been done. This was, if I read in the report, it's like $275,000 a year in water that we were getting from city water. And that number is only going to go up. So the savings that we're getting from this are going to keep increasing. And I noticed that it was $30,000 less than what was originally budgeted. So that's a little bit extra money too. So thank you, Monty and the team. Great job.
I do have one question about that. Getting into the weeds, is the solar power the pump? I mean, that's part of the solar connection, no? So it's a separate thing. Okay. Because would that be useful in the future? Okay.
Pretty big pump. Probably require pretty massive solar and battery storage unit to operate a pump that big for as many hours. It's very much more efficient than the old pump. It's a very old.
I was just going to ask.
I have seen, when you drive through the Central Valley, you see these solar arrays that attach to a pump. So I was just wondering in the back of my head. But anyway, some food for thought here. Well, I don't know how big they are. I mean, they weren't that, they weren't acres of solar panels, but so.
Well, and largely the pump.
Oh,
okay, yeah. That might, you need a battery.
Oh,
Yeah, I understand.
So the well pump fills and then there's a
Okay.
jet pump that powers all the sprinklers. Oh,
Let's see.
that makes sense. Oh, and that's why you have oh. Got it. Okay.
Okay, with that, is there any motion for that?
So moved.
So moved by Director Rosen. Do I have a second? Second by Director Hodges. Okay, sorry. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Okay. We're moving on to new business, 13.1, financial report, first and second quarter, 24-25.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Directors. We have a new setup here, so I'll be the guinea pig as appropriate. Oh, actually, I do have a connection. It's like, I don't think I have one of those. Yes, I do. Okay, I do. It's good. One moment. There we are. Well, this is not a hard laptop. So good evening. First of all, I'd just like to thank you all for your patience. As you know, we've been very busy trying to build a new system and get everything, transferred over from the old system, transferred back from the new system into the old, and then transferred forward. And I'm happy to bring you both the first and second quarter financial report. As noted in the report that you have in the agenda, there are charts for both the first quarter and the second quarter. I'm focusing on the second quarter here, which I'll include information from the first quarter, but it will really just show us where we are. It's the most updated picture of the district's finances. And there we go. So just a quick recap on the current year budget and how we came up with the assumptions for that we're measuring our actuals against. We were assuming revenue growth of property taxes, a growth rate of about 4% over the projected amounts for fiscal '24. And the program revenue was a 9.6% increase over the fiscal '24 projected. And when I say projected, those are the numbers that we looked at during the mid-year review, which we did not appropriate anything from, but it was that included a bit of a one-time bump in the redevelopment baseline for the property tax revenue, and we also saw significant growth in the program and other revenue. For the personnel costs, we had a 5% general salary increase go into effect in July, and that was of the third year of the MOUs and compensation plans that are currently in place. Additionally, we added 7 FTEs with the budget development, and this was after adding 5.5 FTEs during fiscal '24. One of those was the Ranger lead that was in the fall, and then the other 4.5 were part of the mid-year review. So we did add a significant amount of additional resources to provide, or staff to provide the community with additional services. We did adjust vacancy savings from $900,000 in fiscal '24 to about $1.2 million. Some of that is because we were adding so many more positions and just looking at how we were trending with vacancy savings. Our services and supplies increased only slightly, and our contingency at $250,000 remained the same as the prior year. So I have some charts here, which is kind of our hybrid charts. Instead of rehashing the charts that we're looking at in the report that you guys have, this is more of a visual representation of those that you've kind of started to see me present in the four, but as really what we see is the trends continuing in fiscal '24-25 at this point. Revenue is showing as increased over the prior year. And you can see we have the breakdown between the current year and prior year taxes, which are shown in green. The bold one is the current year and the more faded colors are the prior year. And then our other revenue in blue. And then that line across the top is our current year budget. So that's what we're shooting for. It was a bit of an increase over the prior year, and it looks like we're well on target for that. Our expenditures also increasing. And the same sort of color scheme, only green is our personnel costs and blue is our other costs. You're seeing that we have higher expenses. We also have a higher budget. So again, pretty much on track, just under 50% of expenditures at this point. I have a new graph for you today on the cash balances. This is the cash balances for all of our funds, including restricted funds such as the pension trust. The chart on the left is the all of the cash, and then that 33.3 million is shown in the chart on the right, and that is just our unrestricted cash. So most of that is held at the county. We participate in the county pool, so they're investing those. And the restricted funds, of course, we have the restricted for the projects, which includes mainly the bond proceeds. And then we also have debt service in orange at the top, and then the 5 million in the pension trust. So our unrestricted 33.3 million. You can see we also have, in addition to the cash with the county that's shown in yellow, 8.7 in our commercial banking accounts with Wells Fargo, and 1.1 in the CDs, the certificates of deposit that continually cycle through. The 8.7 is may seem a little bit high. We typically do our cash projections at the end of the month, so we're usually funding that, pulling that down out of the county funds and putting it into the commercial banking account right before the start of the month. So typically that will sort of drain down through the month. And the other finance updates, same old story. I will happy to report that the API, I think I shared that the ActiveNet API was live. We have now also completed the 4UP, so all of the golf revenue is now getting posted into the system, dropped into the system through this script that has been written. We have also completed all the data transfer back to the old and then from the old to the new, hoping that we can look at vendor access next, which is going to be a great addition. And we also have work to do on capital assets to get that module live and getting the data in there, because we have a lot of assets listed that we have to identify what they are. So we're going to do kind of a reconciliation to make sure we have good data before we populate the new system with that. Also very focused on fiscal 24 year-end close. And that has been completed. The auditors are actually doing our final field work this week. And we expect to have the final the audit report to you in May, hopefully before we start working on interim fiscal 25 audit. And that's it for me. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer that.
Director Hatcher, please.
Yeah, thanks for the report. Under the vacancy savings, we went from 900K to 1.2, and we still added 7 FTEs, but that went up. So you said there was some adjustment in the projection of that. Kind of just explain the.
Well,
that would
it's
have gone down.
typically when we're adding positions, I know we did add a couple at mid-year, but we added 7 positions with the budget adoption. So it's a big jump. We always budget for the full amount of the salaries. But it really takes time to get those positions filled. Staff doesn't even embark on that recruitment until after the budget is passed. So you're looking at July for a start for that. So we definitely always have a significant period of vacancy that you can count on for those. And so that was
Got it. So
kind of
the lag,
combination
there's a
of-
lag there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, second question, there's, we invest in 33.3% into the county pool. Is that fixed? We have
That's
to?
actually in
mandated?
millions. So it's
Millions, yeah.
33.3 million that
Yeah.
the county holds for us. And so they collect the property taxes.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is them sort of doing their work and kind of allocating it on paper. And then they do what's called a interest allocation or earnings, investment earnings allocation. So of all the funds that they're holding for all the various organizations. But our returns with them have been solid. We do have that 1.1 million. I believe that's really a liquidity thing because it takes us a couple of days to get money from the county still. Another thing that we'll continue to work on. But it's a sort of old fashioned process, I'll say.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I
Yeah.
know you were looking at that, so that's always my concern, like, how well are they? And how promptly are they? And
Mhm.
what are they? And so all the how, what, why, where. So thank you.
Director London, do you have a question?
Don't, thank you very much.
Great.
Director Rosen.
Thank you. This is great. I like all the pretty colors too. This is good, very bright. Couple questions. Being that this year there was additional work to try and, it's like you did double duty between Wyatt as well as the old system and then bringing it back. So since the audit's gonna happen in May this year, are we anticipating the next year it'll probably happen in March or something, or is it? I mean, like, is this gonna make it a lot easier moving forward type of thing?
It should. We definitely had, I think, one-time delays this
Right.
year just because we weren't able to produce the year-end balances without all this back and forth. Next, it does, even though we do have our pros and cons on the new system, there's a lot of great benefit being able to get information out. So I do think that that's going to make things faster. So I would not anticipate, so the audit is broken up between interim and final, and the interim where they're just kind of testing our processes. And then the final is where they're really looking at the numbers and the ending balances and all of that and compiling that. We were unable to meet our targets for the final field work this year. So that delay is why we're still looking at, the audit not being done. But I do think that, the plan is, the goal is that in the coming year, the audit will be a lot easier to maintain. Our year-end close is something that we can organize right in the system. And so I think it'll be more efficient. Typically, we would be bringing you the audit in, I don't know, February or March. I'd like to get that so that the ideal would be to have it in your hands before December or by December. So it should get faster. Whether it's this year, can't say. It is definitely, getting the auditor's access and sort of figuring out the new world and the new system. There might be a little bit of bumps with that, but it should lead us to a much more efficient processing.
Okay, thank you.
And if you will recall, our implementation of the ERP schedule is a lot faster than most people do. I spoke to someone the other day, 2.5 years they're planning. So it was a little aggressive. We're keeping up, but this is just the last little snag drag from it.
Director Hodges.
Yeah, now that you got, sorry, now that you got the new, did you have to hire temps at all to help out?
Yeah, we have been just with the catch up. And to Jim's point, it was a very compressed time frame for the implementation. We went live. We did not get, in a perfect world, everything that you would want to have done before you go live. I don't know, to how much we would have been able to do more. So I don't have any regrets actually, because, I kept saying, rip the Band-Aid. So we're still doing a lot of the implementation work. And that was part of the struggle of, closing the year, but we had to get all the projects in, we had to get all the historical data up to date. So it was just a lot of work, but it's one-time work. So I think we're in a good position.
And
we're
we're
still-
using a lot of help right now.
Yeah.
We're using help from Tyler Munis as a consultant. We're using help as a consultant to build a budget. We have Natalie helping oversee financing Gary while Ann works on Wyatt. Like we're doing every resource we can. And my goal, the overall goal, since we're kind of talking ERP, would be December of 2025. We kind of have the next year in and the year before, and the audit numbers easy to assemble. And so we're hoping that by mid-year next year, we'll be able to do a mid-year, we'll be back, everything will be at our fingertips. So, and I have to applaud Ann because she's been pretty much tireless through this process, and Natalie has stepped up and taken on a lot of the finance management role for people as the kind of playing ASD. So, everybody's been doing a lot. The staff over here, learning the
Absolutely.
systems, entering stuff, contracts, as you saw, one of the capital asset management is huge. I mean, if you look at our capital assets, there's, whatever, 120 facilities and the properties and the property books and all the renovations, improvements, money spent, changes to those sites. So it's a lot to track. And so we're just trying to keep up and get to a point where we are finally like really caught up.
Right. Thanks. I have a question. So did I hear this right? That we still have redevelopment money coming in?
So I think when we talked about mid-year last year, we had a unforeseen increase in property taxes. It was higher than we had anticipated. And so when we drilled in, we identified it as there are still successor agencies in existence. And those successor agencies are what replaced that redevelopment agencies that were there. As those successor, and they basically froze. You can't take on any new obligations, but you can have what you need to pay down the obligations you already had. Most of those were bond indenture to, redevelop these areas. So as those various they're all in the county, successor agencies pay off those debts, then that money then flows back into the regular pot. So we all get to share in that. So that's what we saw. It was kind of like, all right, we got to jump because the basis is kind of increased from that. It's no longer going to that debt that was the former redevelopment agency was paying off. So we'll probably continue to see those. They're quite difficult to predict. So it'll kind of depend on, how much information we can gather because it's many layers deep.
Yeah, because I thought it was mostly paid off and we're just getting dribs and drabs right now, right?
There's still quite a few that have significant obligations. So it's, yeah.
The city has a couple million, I think,
Yeah.
or they did.
It's a long term because, these bonds are generally 30 years.
Be getting this in the next 10 and 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to get an idea of what was still out there and,
Yeah.
So it's a pleasant surprise, I suppose.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I mean, it doesn't end up as they pay off, increasing our basis. So you just can't get used to it, right? Because it's one time, but it was recurring. So it wasn't, just this blip that was then going to go away the next year. Each time it's a blip that forms the new baseline.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. So this is not an action item. It's just information.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the other one, so we're going to item 13.2, which is the acquisition of Laurel Elementary School from Unified School District, Hayward Unified School District. Yep. Yeah. Where have I heard you?
And okay, what? Okay, let's see. New system here. Hang on, everybody. It's not what I wanted to. I don't want to mirror my image here. Yeah. There it is. Yep. And extend. That's what I want to do. Thank you. No.
That's not Laurel.
No, that's not. That's France. It is France. It's a small town in France. Let's see. No, sorry. This is a new system here. That's what I want right there. Perfect. Okay, let's see where this shows up. Okay, that shows up here, that shows up there. And hi, I'm Brian Lasko, Assistant Director of Capital Planning. And I have another acquisition to bring in front of you today. That's the acquisition, as you saw in your packages, of Laurel School from the Hayward Unified School District. We've been working with them since 2022 when they started a surplusing project in their school district. Laurel School sits in an area of high need that was identified in the 2019 master plan. And so we started discussions with them. It is 5.4 acre school site with about 22,300 square feet of building. It's open space with grass fields and asphalt surfaces. As you can see there, the school is in the middle, and the asphalt to the north is the parking lot. The asphalt to the south is their asphalt hard play area, and the brown is the grass fields. And we have, as you are well aware, we have been talked to you many times. We had 4 closed sessions in 2023. We had 3 in 2024 to speak about this. We brought brokers on in 2023 from Colliers to help move this deal forward. And today we actually have a purchase and sale agreement here for your review and approval. The HUSD board approved this same PSA on March 26th of this year. Total purchase price for the 5.4 acres would be $8,750,000. The purchase will be in 2 phases. The complication is that currently the buildings and part of the grounds are leased to the Montessori Twin Oaks Group School, who has a lease through 2029. So to accommodate this lease, HARD will acquire the roughly 3.1 acres, about $5 million worth of the purchase price, which is outlined in green on the drawing that you see there. We will also need to go into an agreement with Montessori School while we would be the owner, they would certainly need an opportunity to use the outdoor spaces so that they can continue their license agreement with the HUSD. So once Montessori leaves to move to their new facility in roughly 2029, the second phase will then come into play, when we will have to find $3.7 million to purchase the balance of the property. Pardon me. Cold coming on. So this action will authorize the general manager to complete both phases of the acquisition and to establish an agreement with Twin Oaks Montessori School. So with that said, the staff recommendation, staff recommends the board of directors by motion, 1, approve the resolution authorizing the general manager to acquire Laurel Elementary School from Hayward Unified School District at 2652 Virgil Court in Castro Valley, California. Approve the creation of a new capital improvement program project for the 2652 Virgil Court acquisition project, and approve the budget change to reallocate funds to the 2652 Virgil Court acquisition project. Real quickly, funding sources would be $1.56 million from surplus funds from our completed projects, $1.73 million from anticipated surpluses from ongoing projects, and $2 million reallocated from the Hayward Plunge CIP to the new Virgil Court CIP. So we are here for questions.
I'll answer questions, anybody? Director Rosen?
All right, so
All right.
I just want to say that this is huge. We all know it's huge. This is, I was advocating for the site for the community. Before I was on the board, I was trying to get Supervisor Miley to buy it. That area needs park space. It needs open space. I remember a few years back, this board was talking about maybe trying to just get the southern field and blacktop. And the fact that we can acquire all of this for now and for the future of a community that's going to have a lot of dense housing, dense needs. If we can pull a Bidwell type project on this, that we turn this into community center or art center or something in there, this is going to be amazing. The impact on this is, I'm very thankful to everyone involved. I'm glad we found a way to make this happen. I want to thank HUSD. I stayed up late to listen to their meeting. I know Director Hodges was on it for a little while, then he checked out. And I even got a word in, even though they cut me off. But I'm very thankful. This process has been one step forward, two steps back the whole time, and I'm very thankful that you guys stuck through it, stuck with it. Everyone supported it, saw the need. I got some feedback from some community members this week about this that were very excited about it. One was looking forward to the new park space and was worried about the playground space. And I was like, just have some faith in us. We're gonna make it happen. I have a lot of faith in this team, and I'm very thankful to everyone involved in this. This is a huge thing for our community. So I'll just leave it at that. So.
Director Rosen, you'll share those concerns with me at some point about especially about the blacktop. It's kind of a tricky arrangement here because the school district will have to modify their lease for the outside space and we'll have to get into a lease for the outside space. But we had a very nice conversation before the finalization of the PSA and moving it to meetings with the Hayward Twin Oaks Montessori School. And I feel very confident that we'll be able to work with them. The 2029 is a worst case scenario, and we did remind them that when we originally put in an offer for the property, it was supposed to be 2 to 3 years, and then it became 3 to 5. They think about 3 to 4 years, so it could be sooner.
Okay, Director Hodges.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment about March 9th. On the, let's see, March 26th board meeting. I wanted to get there and make sure that their board knew that Hard's board was there to support them. And so I saved all these seats in front and no board did. And so these women started filling up on both sides of me. I said, all right. And I already waved to the their board, and so they knew I was there to support them. And then the thing just kind of turned ugly. They were protesters and stuff. And I thought, I got to get out of here before they think I'm part of their group.
They did give you a shout out and thank you for being there, though.
Yeah. But I found out too, I was going to be sitting there for 11 o'clock before they even got to the agenda items. So I hightailed it and went home and found out it was on TV. So I gave my part of my evening and a couple of other things. So
Ditto.
We did it.
Yeah. Any comments?
Yeah.
Director Hatcher?
The funding of it, 1.5 in past surplus, and then I'm questioning the 1.7 in future surplus. Is that already anticipated or is that?
So I'll take that one. So some of those projects are completely finished. We're just sweeping money out of them. Some of them are still somewhat active, but that's we're looking at either completely closing them out or they're so close to done, we think we're going to have a surplus. So that's why I called it potential.
So it's pretty, not secure, but pretty good estimate.
It's fairly certain.
And then I know we're doing upgrades to the plunge, so this is subtracting from not that existing.
You go ahead.
Okay, I just love the plunge.
So the Hayward Plunge, as we know, is in need of structural renovation. We were hoping to do more, but we believe that interior painting, roof, shoring up decks, redoing some decks, drainage, other things will be part of that project. As you are aware, we are We have reached agreement with the city of Hayward for La Vista Park. We gave them 15.4 million in bond funds. We get 6.7 back in impact fees, unrestricted for our use. And so we were going to take 2 million because the Plunge Memorial Park and everything around it belongs to the city of Hayward. We're going to take 2 million in impact fees and come to you and ask if we can use those for the Plunge and then take those fees over to get the school.
Got it. I saw that. Thank you.
Director Lambden?
Thank you for that clarification. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Thank you for the work on this, for all the reasons that have been stated. I was also at the school board meeting, remotely, and, was relieved to see it pass, and, I'll leave it at that.
Was it controversial?
Not this. Not so much.
Yes and no, but it passed, and here we are. So much appreciation. Hope you feel better.
I want to thank the staffs for all their work they did on this. This is one of these, years ago, I kind of went around the Bay Area, around the district and looked for sites that I thought in the future could be a good site. And, this was in my back of my head. I already thought this would be a great site for a park. But by the time everything kind of coalesced, I could see that, Peter and a lot of other people had already done a lot of work, and it just sort of moved on its own momentum. So it's great. And staff at the time, we were able to do it. So it's a great site. Corner of the district, it's not really parked very well. So it'll really serve a need. So I think it's going to be great.
I'd like to add one thing if I could, just because we're speaking about the hearing. And as you all know, we went round and round and round and round with the school district and different staff and things like that. And I think it's worth noting that the business manager now for the school district really said some very pleasant collaborative words about working together with HARD. And that was, in addition to having the deal move forward, it was just nice to have her kind of state that on the record, that it sure really seems like a good partner to work with.
And not only did Assistant Superintendent Amy Nichols help us get through the final stages of that board meeting, she also helped facilitate the meeting with the Hayward Twin Oaks Montessori School, which allowed us to make sure that we were on the same page, and they walked away from that feeling like everything was going to be fine in their future. So it's a pretty good thing. I need to thank Brian immensely for just hanging in there on this one. Oh my gosh. I need to thank Megan. I really think the behind the scenes guys, John and Paul from Colliers, have been just relentlessly on top of this thing with us. And so the final thing I'll say about this item, if you didn't play the 3-card parlay of La Vista Park, Canyon Middle School Fields, and Laurel School, you'd win now, because they are all going to be done if you vote in favor of this item.
Great. Yes, that's right. That's pretty good. That's really great.
I also wanted to just throw in the recognition, Mr. Kurt Kidder, who is listening to this right now. And I just want to say he's and it's really just, as you can imagine, it's just been essential to have somebody as pleasant to work with and as knowledgeable as Kurt on our side.
Yeah. I think the unique thing also about this site is that when I visited this 10 years ago, it had a hard sign on it, and I just remember seeing that and just going like, this is a tragedy turning into such a success. And I think, Director Rosen's, passion for this when I was on the board, and him, clearly stating, the need. And when we saw truly, this part of Castro Valley being the most underserved in our district, great accomplishment.
It was a sad little sign in a sad little park. And it was
You
sort of
should have taken
embarrassing.
that sign down and disavowed any ownership of that little cement plaza. That was just a gopher prairie dog heaven.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's a huge equity win. And so again, many thanks to everybody that worked on this. And I'll add in an appreciation to the teachers union as well, the folks on the 7-Eleven committee who said, no, we do need to address this equity issue. So.
Yes, great.
Everyone.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd love to make this motion that we approve the acquisition of Laurel Elementary School from Hayward Unified School District.
Okay. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, it was moved by Director Rosen, seconded by Director Hodges. And with that, please vote. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm very sorry, but as a point of order,
Yeah.
there's 3 items on the recommendation, and if you could please read them for the record. Thank you.
Okay, sorry.
No.
All right, so the authorization general manager to acquire Laura Elementary School from Hayward Unified School District and the creation of a new capital improvement program project to fund the acquisition and the PSA between Laurel School, the Montessori and us. Is that correct?
No.
And the budget
And
change.
HUSD and us. Yes. I did the budget change when I said the capital improvement program project fund.
Okay, I guess, does that meet the requirement? I believe it does.
Okay. As written, yes,
As
there you
written.
go. Sorry. Yes.
As written, okay. And then there's, I haven't asked, but there's no Zoom discussion.
Are there any comments in the public?
There are no public comment
Yeah, they
in,
haven't.
on Zoom.
Okay. With that, please vote. Okay, the motion carries unanimously. Great.
Thank you.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's great. Hurrah. Okay, proposition. Yeah, well.
They need the money.
Yeah, well, it'll, it's gonna be a long haul still, but it's, at least we have it, we have control of it, so it's great. 13.3, approval of Weeks, Community Park renovation design services consultant task order. So this is just for the consultant.
Correct. Megan Tiernan, Capital Planning and Development Director. Good evening, Honorable Board. So yes, this evening, the board will consider approval of a task order with Carducci Associates, one of our on-call landscape architects, for professional design services for the renovation of Weeks Park. We've made some improvements in the past few years, kind of piecemeal to the park. We renovated the picnic areas. We also renovated the sports courts. So this will address the remainder of the park. We anticipate that this process will involve a community outreach process, and then we'll get into design development and construction drawings. We had actually, we had sent out a request for proposals to the on-call list. 7 of those proposed on this project. So after careful review, we determined that Carducci was the best fit for this particular project, with a very competitive fee proposal of $203,435. So with that, staff is recommending that the board approve the task order with Carducci Associates. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? You, yeah. Okay,
I've got,
let me, questions or comments? Who's first? Director Rosen, go ahead.
okay.
He has one.
Sorry. Let me think about this. So a couple things. Some of my comments and questions are for the public, who may not have read the packet. But you said that there's going to be a community process, and what does that mean? That we're going to do our typical roadshow where we send things out to the public, and we actually do a variety of ways of trying to get feedback so they can determine whether they want, dog park, sport field, the ADA enhancements, the bike racks, fences, bathroom upgrades. All those kinds of things would be discussed during those meetings, right?
Yeah, so initially we would go out without any kind of predetermined menu of what those improvements would be and just ask the community what they want to see in their neighborhood park. And then we would come back with some alternatives for them to kind of weigh. So very similar process to what we've done with other park renovations. Just to note though, there's only $2 million for Weeks Park. It is a lot of ground to cover. So the improvements, we'll have to be pretty judicious about what improvements we can actually afford.
And because this is a city-owned property, are we going to do additional outreach to somebody from the city so they're actually in part of these meetings or
We will
something?
certainly suggest that they attend these meetings with us to hear other related comments that might,
And the library?
Yeah, library.
yeah.
Okay.
And our MLA with the city doesn't allow us to go in and do any work in their parks without making sure they know what our intention is in getting their feedback.
I just want to make sure we go above and beyond on this outreach because of
This particular project and their proposal, what impressed me the most is not only is there an information gathering, the first night, come back, here's what we heard, 2 or 3 design options, but then actually more feedback in another meeting to come back and say, here's what we're thinking of doing. At that point, it would go to a board study session. You'd give your input. The public would be allowed to come to that. So there will be 3 or 4 more check-ins with the community during that process. And of course, translation services at those community meetings, materials put out about the communities, English and Spanish. So we'll definitely make sure that we go out and listen to the community about this. We know that due to some of the issues in Weeks Park and abatement of unsheltered encampments and some dangerous situations and other things, that this conversation has already occurred once in a study session in the boardroom, and there was some very spirited conversation and some very passionate people who care about the park and the people in the park. So taking all of that into consideration, we'll move forward with this one very deliberately. But I will also say that I believe this is the 3rd recycling of Weeks Park to take it back kind of for the community. And I had a very nice meeting with the city manager on Friday for about an hour, and we did talk about not only the importance of the outreach to park users, but the importance of the outreach to the neighboring housing and people who live by that park and are affected by the quality of life of some of the things that the design has been conducive to occurring there. So our goal would be activation. Our goal would be community need and upgrading of some antiquated or no longer useful amenities into things that would make the park more prosperous.
Thank you.
Director Lamna?
Thank you. So yeah, just, I appreciate the thoughtful approach here, and just because I need to say it out loud, of the not just English and Spanish. This is one of the most diverse places in the country, in the country actually. So
One of the reasons we selected Carducci is they very successfully ran the outreach for Bidwell and El Rancho Verde, and their staff members are bilingual.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, there are, the world lives in South Hayward, so not just English and Spanish, but
we will do the best
Farsi
we
and-
can.
Yeah. I mean, we have the 5 languages that are sort of legal, is probably a good start. And then also with that is kind of engaging the faith communities in that area, and looking at the interfaith calendar. There's a good one if you need a link for that. I'm happy to share it. But just to make sure that we're not planning our community events on a high holy day for folks. And then, I appreciate the outreach to the neighbors, and including, I mean, my first job out of college was that nursing home, and I would bring patients from that nursing home to that park. And so, I would love it if the activity staff were at least invited. I can't make them come. but, and then the last piece is also that there was a pretty robust community engagement piece several years ago. I know there was just the plan done, but not just starting with a blank slate and knowing that there is, as you said, well, like just it's $2 million. So we're not doing the world. Maybe we come up with a wish list for the future as part of this process, but also some real thought and community engagement went into that plan. So are there any pieces of that we want to bring forward? And I know that's, so just making sure that that's part of that process as well. Thanks.
Director Hatcher?
Yeah, I mean, just expound on the Carducci. I'm really happy to see that they were selected because I've been, heavily impressed with how they've done their outreach. So that was an excellent choice with that. And I think that the key thing, I think I'll just expound on Director Lamnan, the idea that is only $2 million. And so, we're going to embark on this, outreach and really detailed and very sensitive and very robust, but that expectation, I think, is really incredible to have in the forefront, and also to have clearly what has already been spent in that park, to say, do you have a, I mean, you don't have to give me a number now, but that, I think that really kind of will showcase it. And then, you know, is this, and I know we're at the end of everything here with our funding cycle, but any ability for any other type of funding opportunity? Are we kind of fixing it right now with this?
So,
momentum?
I would be happy to discuss in the non-public forum potential funding sources for this. What I wouldn't like to do is tell people we have more than $2 million to spend on this park right now, because we have scattered $250 million bond dollars across the district. We're getting down to the end. The projects are all planned, but sure, there's always the opportunity to try to figure out how to find more funding for that park. That park is, it's another city property. You know, there's just options. The non-bond capital fund, you know, if you're a little bit short somewhere, but I'd rather not really talk about all the places we could find money, because I think that's a study or closed session topic first.
Sure. And I think that it was mentioned in clear that that area is so diverse and would really fill a lot of, well, check a lot of boxes for, you know, funding opportunities. So I look forward to potential discussion about that. Thanks.
Director Hodges?
Yeah. What is thank you. The scope of mail outs, how far, what's the range?
We can share that with you at some point. Right now, we just need to approve this vendor, and then we can start to talk about our strategies for outreach. And generally, whenever we do a project or somewhere, it's 300 to 500 feet from the project site, a big circle.
Well, this time we should check the Giants calendar. I don't know if you remember that there was only 6 people that came because I think it was the playoffs. So we'll do better this year.
What it translates to words.
Okay, the only thing I have to say is I'm glad you mentioned that you were going to present a menu or develop a menu of options that people could pick from. In other words, what I've seen in the past is we've had a wide-ranging believe anything you can do, and then that you come up with a lot of great ideas, but they're sort of then you have to disappoint them with, you know. And it's good to just say, you know, hey, this is what these are the options that we think as park professionals would be the best served, you know, at this point, you know, and then just so that, you know, it sort of focuses the attention.
I think, and we've done, this has been our approach on other projects, is just, and especially Mount Eden, because we didn't have a lot of money on that one either, is it can be dangerous to go out there with any preconceived ideas. If we say it's going to be a skate park, a dog park, and something else, it might alarm some people that we've made some decisions without any community outreach. We can certainly, I think the first meeting, we just want to listen, and then we take a look at that and decide how to address people's concerns. But at the very beginning, we'll be honest and say we don't have a lot of money
Yeah. Okay. If you start with that.
in hand.
And generally, that meeting occurs is what do you like about the park? What would you like to see different in the park? And then once we have all that feedback, the designers can take that, talk to staff, and then we can talk about what's realistic to do, what's in an adjacent park, what's down the street at Tennyson Park, what's over in another park, to try to figure out the balance of, you know, well, we may not need that feature because we have another one of those features right up the street, right? So it's all part of the balancing point.
Okay. Director Hodges?
Yeah, just a suggestion. Adrian's got a very successful skating. When we do finally get dates, it'd be nice if she could pass things out at the skating or just the.
In the arts.
Our outreach would be to all of the program users that come to the free after-school arts program, which far exceeds the number of people who skate one day a week there. We would talk to them. We would talk to basketball players. We would post it on site. We'd post it in the facility. We'd post it in the library. We'd share it online. There's a bunch of strategies for how we would advertise this meeting, and we'll make sure that we get it posted into the people that use the POC, Director Hodges, for sure.
Not just skaters, but everybody. Yeah.
All right, with that, is there any public comment on this?
There is no public comment online.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Did you go first?
Wait, oh, no, sorry. My brain, okay, sorry.
Okay, as I,
There's no-
motion was made by Director Hodges and second,
I'll second.
second by Director Lamnin. Please vote. Motion carries, motion. There we go. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Now with that, other business, moving on. Informational reports from the board of directors. Let's start with, and board members and committee reports. Okay, so let's start with Director Hatcher, go left to right.
Yeah, my big thing was attending the annual CPRS conference in Sacramento. And it was, again, just one of my favorite conferences to go to. It was highlighted by a Cal State East Bay student who did a report, which I have a copy of here, that presented in one of the breakout sessions in the main exhibitor hall. David Watson, who had, collected information about our parks and presented a topic on the equitable access to facilities and programs in HARD, which was great to kind of talk to him about that. I did sit in a legislative session with some of the legislative lobbyists with a few of the park districts, and just got a general consensus kind of, hey, where are these dollars going for funding for parks? And they said some of the larger land areas, Nature Conservancy and Trust for Public Lands. And so it kind of was a nice, kind of like, good, we're taking a look at those folks. So I kind of got some detailed one-on-one information from them. I did attend the park tour, which is always my favorite event. One of the key pieces was visiting 3 of the community gardens in Sacramento. Sacramento City Parks has 22 community gardens. It's interesting enough because they became affiliated with community gardens back in 1995 when one of the main gardens in downtown, midtown Sacramento, which I actually had a plot in 1994, was shut down. And it was actually moved to a really horrible site that was right next to the railroad depot. So it started a whole controversy, which created a whole community gardens and now programming around their community gardens, which was very impressive. And I believe the highlight of that was seeing our general manager become part of the Hall of Fame with CPRS. Very proud moment. But I think it was us trying to not be seen by Jim, who's very active in looking around, moving around. And so we were dodging and pitching around the different poles. I was already there, so I didn't have to dodge and pitch as much, but want to thank Nicole and Christy and the rest of the staff for honoring and being a part of an incredible moment of a career that, as we all are going to talk about and see and reverberate, someone who lives, breathes, bleeds, literally park and recreation. So our general manager, Jim Wheeler. And that's it, so to speak.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Highlight of the past couple of weeks was seeing Jim recognized for your lifelong achievement. Congratulations, Jim, and thank you. I attended, in addition, I also attended a session on social media, high trust, creating high trust workplace and leadership. As I said, sat in on the HUSD meeting, and that was it in terms of activities. Interested at what's happening at the HASPA meeting this week, and if there's any updates on the shoreline money. And that's it. Thanks.
I'm so just so we can get back to you, that would be the data center funding and the distribution of those fees. Okay, thank you.
Director Rosen.
So yes, I also took the secret shuttle to Sacramento to honor our esteemed leader. And it was nice to see you speechless, I have to say. So it was good. It was good. It's good. So that was great. So a couple other things. I attended the Hart Foundation's executive committee meeting, and there's some good plans coming forward. I stuck around to the end of the HUSD, as I had mentioned earlier, Laurel School meeting, and it finally came on at about a little after 10:30, I think, and it was. I thought it was gonna be a slam dunk, but there was. I'm glad it went forward. There was a little bit of a hiccup for a moment there. I went to the new employee breakfast, along with, I think I saw Director Hatcher there and I think Director Lamnan.
No, I couldn't.
Okay. That was good. I have to say the energy and the excitement from the people that want to work here. The tone and just the vibe from all the people that are here now, I think it's great. I feel again very lucky to be part of this, and I think that they do as well. And Director Hatcher and I also had a virtual meeting with Supervisor Miley, and I'm glad that got to happen. We had some good conversations about the in lieu process and some potential properties and partnerships, and he was excited to hear about Laurel too, because he knows that I was bugging him about that for a long time. So, all in all, a lot was going on, but I didn't get to go to a whole lot of parks this week. I felt bad about it, but anyway.
My turn? Okay, it's not any day that, you can pull the wool over Jim's eyes. Of course, I was just following orders, so it's.
You're the best salt.
But it was really great to see how many people admire you and will go to so many dangerous ways of getting in, because Chris really snuck us in. I couldn't even fit through that hole, really. But anyway, I enjoyed being there and being part of it. The only other thing I did, I went, April 1st was Fairview Mac. And the only thing that came out of that that's important to us is don't speed on Fairview, because they got the, was it the highway patrol is now, yeah. And they're out to make money.
Well, it's been said before. Well, first of all, I have nothing else to report except to say congratulations, Jim, on your award, and I'm glad that we hired you. I think it was one of the best decisions we made. So, and that's all I have to say. I wasn't able to attend too many other events. So, thank you, and staff reports.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Jim Wheeler, General Manager. Okay, thank you. I appreciate your kind words. You know that it's not really why I do it, so thanks. I wish I had known, even though it was great to be surprised, because there's a lot of people I would have thanked, and I didn't get to thank you publicly, which I would have for sure, for supporting me in my ability to go do this stuff. I would have thanked all the staff I work with for allowing me to honestly, I think it might have been a great first 25 or 6 years, but the last 7 have been amazing, and it's due to the people I work with and your support. So thank you for that. There, you got my words. I'm going to be out the 8th through the 10th, Tuesday through Thursday. I'll be checking email intermittently. I think my out of office message says contact Christy. She can get a hold of me if you need me. I want to thank you for your understanding for my recent another little mishap, physical debilitating mishap. I really appreciate the staff and everybody and, you know, being able to, you guys just being able to kind of cover and tell me it's okay when sometimes I feel like I need to be here all the time. And it's nice to have people remind me that, you know, we got this, you'll be okay, go away for a while. Probably, you know, a good vacation for people. I think the last thing is when you mentioned Fairview, I think of Lake Ridge Park up there and the project and the impact fee money and what we're gonna do in the outreach. And that's gonna be another one where we're gonna have to probably notice everybody to start with around the park who's got a vested interest in what happens in their backyard and then maybe kind of work our way out. But we're gonna have to go figure out what to do up there. We have some bad drainage allegations, which we can't figure out. And we have some people who are concerned about like where the tree or the trail will run up behind their house through that little sliver open space. So I just wanted to put that back on the record that we're looking into that and we haven't forgotten. And I pass the baton.
I have nothing to report. I think I already did, so thank you.
He's winning so far, Peterson.
Good evening, Honorable Board of Directors. Chris Peterson, Parks and Facilities Maintenance Director. Just wanted to throw out a few things. My ground staff have been have started this month already, but we're gonna have a really busy month. We've got a lot of volunteer groups that want to do specific parks. And so that outside of the regular VIP events. So they had the VIP event they prepped for at Edendale last weekend. On the 9th, they've got a volunteer group that wants to do some work at Centennial. On the 12th, they're prepping for the Cherryland Association egg hunt at Meek. The 16th, another group that wants to do a project at Cannery. Also on the 16th, Southgate Park Earth Day event. The 19th, Kennedy Park Easter egg hunt. 22nd, San Lorenzo VIP. The 25th at Cherryland, tree planting and park beautification with SCA and sponsored by the Cox Enterprises. 26th, Weeks Park, Earth Day with City of Hayward. Also on the 26th, the Shoreline, they're helping them prep for that Earth Day event. And then on the 10th, I have the interagency meeting with Cali OES for the FEMA projects. So other than that, nothing going on.
Adrienne Lee Bird, Director of Recreation Arts and Community Services. So this weekend we had the DMT course with their sold out shows over the weekend. We're having a family friendly presentation of Frog and Toad on April 27th at the DMT. As Chris mentioned, our Edendale VIP this past weekend went well with youth commissioners, students from Chabot, and then some of the families from the middle school joined in, so that was really nice. And then our Earth Day events, mainly the two at Weeks and the Shoreline on the 26th. We will be, as he mentioned, at Meek Park Mobile Rec on April 12th, as well as at our Bonnet Parade and Egg Hunt on April 19th at Kennedy Park. And then two things I wanted to mention, our new outdoor education supervisor and nature supervisor is really expanding programming, which is great. So you're going to see a lot of that this spring and summer. And he's launching a Cal Naturalist program as well as an Ascent outdoor leadership program for teens. So that will be very cool. He has some partnerships in the works with Eden Youth as well as Reach Youth Center in Ashland. So we have those cooking. Alice, had kicked off another round of after school at Week, so that's still going along. And then Noel and Mike just wrapped their first session of free youth after school sports in South Hayward, which we had 65 kids participate. Super awesome. We're starting our new sports this week, which is girls flag football and boys soccer, and then we'll flip flop it. So those are really exciting and happening. And that's about it. Thanks.
Good evening again, Megan Tiernan, Capital Planning and Development Director. We're looking at applying to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. The grants are due in August for two of our projects. So the first one would be Valley View, and the Trust for Public Land is very interested in working on that one with us. So we're working on an amendment to their agreement with us to add that as one of the projects they help us with. And then the other one would be the Sulphur Creek Nature Center, including the expansion area. And we'll be working with our on-call grant writer HTA on that one. So we'll be bringing those to the board in the next month or two for approval.
I do. Dear Honorable President Andrade and Honorable Board of Directors, we received all the plaques for the park projects. They are piled in my office. We will work on installing those in parks. So we're super excited about that. There's 14 in my office. So we're going to get those out. The other thing is just a reminder that Saturday is the volunteer brunch. And all of this fun information will be coming your way on the general manager's newsletter Friday morning.
And I'm sorry, I have one more before I you to the clerk. I had a very long and productive, two very nice, long, casual, productive meetings with the city manager and the general manager of the East Bay Regional Park District last week.
Good to hear. I just want to say before I close the meeting that I had a chance to look at all the photographs that we took the other day, and I just want to say we have a beautiful staff, a nice looking people. You know, they're all Hollywood.
Yeah, the headshot project.
The headshot was great.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea, and having Russell here, and I'm glad everybody had their pictures taken. I think it made people feel special too.
Yeah.
And,
It was-
we're giving them either a print or a digital copy of that photograph for every person that can pick one, and then they can purchase more, I think, after that. So I thought you were just gonna tell me how great the photos on the back wall were.
Oh, well, you know, we had a good board, beautiful board as well, so it turned out really well. So anyway, okay, with that, our next meeting is going to be April 21st at 6:30. And with that, I close the meeting.
Thank you so much, Dulce and Les.